guys, Ash your Rage Legends. Welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. So what do you guys think about this event dungeon? It's been live for a whole day at the time of this recording, but I wanted to sit back a day or two, see what the top strategy that my clanmates have been using, what I see on Discord, on Reddit, and of course other YouTube videos as well. And I wanted to share my favorite, giving credit where credit is due as always, with you guys today. But first, what do you think about this event dungeon? Like as a concept, this rotating dungeon featuring different like artifact sets or whatever. I'm kind of mixed. I actually like, it feels cool. It feels kind of fresh to, you know, challenge yourself in your account on a new dungeon. I do think it's pretty challenging. It all comes down to the artifacts and the champions that you have at the end of the day, right? So some players might think it's a breeze if they have like 5 newts or 3. Some might think it's incredibly too difficult and overtuned. But even outside the difficulty, what do you think of the concept? I think I like it. However, you know, as I said initially, when we were kind of talking about what this might be, this dungeon, I was really hoping it'd be a way to farm books, like a more practical thing that is a pain point for at least the majority, I think, of the community out there. So it's kind of what could have been versus what is. But that all being said, I'm not a hater. I just kind of want that freaking book dungeon, damn it. Anyway, event dungeon is what we have. So I want to talk through the crucial stages here because, you know, getting a lot of comments about people struggling in this dungeon. The first kind of barrier of entry here is stage 13, right? That's the first time that you can get the 6-star artifacts. Same thing with regular dungeons, right? So this should be the first kind of goal, in my opinion, for accounts where you can farm instead of 4 to 5, 4 to 6. And then after that, when you get to stage 20, which should be kind of the next goal of farmable stages, is that's the first time that you can get 5 to 6 stars, so it really narrows the quality or refines the quality of artifact that is available there. And then of course at 25, I would say, in my own experience trying to put the hat of the every player out there, I feel like that's where things really start to escalate in difficulty, right? And then all the way to stage 30. What has your experience been like? So before I show you my favorite team, the last thing I will say is pinpoint artifacts. What do you guys think about this set? I have seen wildly varying opinions on it. I want to give you my own really quickly. First of all, I think there's inherent value in any artifact set in this game that has a 9-piece set. Basically, let me put it this way. Any artifact set that you can get a 1-piece bonus, I think that's really valuable and very underrated, right? So just to throw on a random artifact, or accessory for that matter, and get a bonus 20 accuracy, that's huge. That's huge. And then the 10% speed, you can argue it's better or worse than perception. You're getting double the speed and half the, on a 2-piece, half the accuracy. But it allows you some flexibility on your builds. You might not need all the accuracy, you might want extra speed. I think that pinpoint is actually a pretty compelling set. Of course, a lot of people talking about intercept, is it really worth it? But I'm just talking about 1, 2, and 3-piece. Like alone, I think it's a pretty solid set. And I know, again, the community seems to be rather divided. Overall, as intercept, I was going to say skyrockets. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. As it increases in popularity and viability throughout the game, as they introduce new content that maybe synergizes with intercept, obviously there'll be more inherent value in the set. But overall, I actually am I'm a fan of the set overall. Would love to hear from you guys. Okay, so here we go. Stage 30, credit where credit is due. Man, the easiest team, not the fastest necessarily. Well, not necessarily, like 100% not the fastest. But Boozer, man, my man Boozer, I love his freaking content. I don't know if he invented the team or one of his clanmates or saw it somebody else, but that's where I saw it, right? And I'll link that video. He goes through the entire dungeon in depth. That's not what we're going to do here today. The reason I like this team more than any other team is to say it's free-to-play friendly is a big stretch, right? I mean, he's free-to-play, but he's endgame and he's in a class of his, in a league of his own, right? But it's more accessible than a lot of the other teams I've seen, right? Certainly, I've seen, 10-second or less speed runs using 3 newts, right? I tried to do that with Acresia and 2 newts, just couldn't get it done on my account. But this team, basically, it all revolves around Seer. The strategy here is basic. You guys know Seer, right? She's, surprise, surprise, she's a stud in this dungeon as well as every other area of the damn game, right? Removing the buffs and killing the enemies quickly, the ads, that's crucial to this strategy, right? And the nice thing is to some extent, you need the speeds, but to some extent, it's kind of plug and play. I didn't change any gear or any speeds or anything on any of my champions. Granted, It's kind of a, well, not kind of, it's an end game build, I guess I would say. On most of these champions, I'm end game. But it was nice that, you know, if you're end game watching this, you don't really have to change much. We go in there with the buffs. Lydia comes in. Mithrala adds her A2 buffs. Boom. Karma Burn comes down. You don't always kill them all, but it doesn't matter. And even if she dies or something goes wrong, it's okay. Lydia can revive off of the passive. And Ninja is just, like always, in a league of his own in terms of the damage outside of the Seer Karma Burn here and Newts, right? Enemy max HP champions. He's insane. He is a boss killer here as he is, everywhere else in the game. This, if you really run in a super efficient team, you can get, I've seen around 1 minute or so times on this squad. I just kind of plug and play the damn thing. You can use this against any stage, obviously, as well. This team 20 and above, right? This to me is my fave. But of course, there's a lot of options out there. What I would do is I'll shout out and I'll include a bunch of links for you guys of all the videos that I've seen on this dungeon, all the variety of teams, as many as I can think of. And if I miss any, I would love to shout out your favorite creators. So let me know about it in the comments below. I'll try to add it. But to me, this is again, not maybe the best, not the fastest, but the most accessible and the easiest in terms of so far. And we're 1 day or 2 days into this dungeon too. So I do want to give that disclaimer. But for me, I mean, it's pretty easy. It's good old Karma Burn coming through again, man. They need another guaranteed Seer event out there because there's actually been a lot of new players coming to this game. I feel like oftentimes, I've mentioned this before, but oftentimes I can kind of take for granted all the new players playing Raid, you know, starting out. And man, she's just one of the most essential champions. You're not just in this dungeon, but just for farming in general. She really does make a big impact on your account, especially as you approach the mid game of Raid Shadow Legends. So here we are. That's it. I mean, Seer's speed should be around 250. Now, keep in mind, I'm using Arbiter speed boosts, right? I want to show you the presets here because they're important, but 250 speed and above on with a speed boost from an Arbiter gets the job done. Other than that, you might take a shot from like a Turvold, so she needs some survivability. Worst case scenario, again, you can count on the revive passive of Lydia. So here we go, 2 minutes 19, far from my fastest run with the same team. I just ran at 148 right before I recorded, but it's easy. Boozer saves the day for a lot of players out there, right? It's easy, but look at the freaking empowerment too. I'm not here to tell you it's easy if you have the speeds, right? If you don't have the speeds, well, that's another story. It's going to be challenging, but that's why I recommended using a similar team. You know, you can kind of plug and play. We talked about each role. Primarily on this team, obviously, you need a Karma Burn, a Seer, right? But if you have to farm stage 20, like do stage 20. Stage 13, do stage 13, obviously, right? You can still farm decent gear, you know? I wanted to show you the presets really quickly. So Mithrala is going to open up with the A2 for more buffs for the Seer activation. Lydia, and you can see the speeds here. Not necessary to have them this fast. I think the threshold you're aiming for is 280, but then again, you do have Arbiter boosting too, okay? I'll refer you again to a more robust guide on Boozer's channel. Lydia coming in with the Siren's Wail for the buffs. Arbiter, she's going to be leading in with the A3, and then her next move needs to be the A4 to get that 20% turn meter boost, provided if you need, especially if you need help, on the speeds, right? And then Ninja, he's just kind of doing his thing, Ninja doing Ninja, right? And then we have Seer coming in, obviously setting priority of Karma Burn. Well, guys, that's the team. I don't need to make this video any longer than it needs to be. But again, I will refer you guys to all the videos I can find in the description below. Go give those creators some love. First and foremost, of course, Boozer. Thanks for the team, bro. And guys, let me know, what team are you using? Have you devised a strategy that you think is more effective and more accessible than the one that I'm showing you guys today? Let me know in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.